Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are still running as the British Raj. We got our drought. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. Modernizing the arsenal. The change in large-scale production from smoothbore muskets to rifles in the arms industries in West Bengal has ushered in a new era for small arms production in the British Raj. Even from 1,000 yards, you can still take the shot. Forward artillery positions can be harassed. Bayonet charges stopped before they've even come... I'm supposed to be doing my terrible British accent for this. Even from 1,000 yards, you can still take the shot. Forward artillery positions can be harassed. Bayonet charges stopped before they're even commenced. The advantages are innumerable. Unless we shift sufficient manufacturing capabilities to produce these weapons, we are bound to face disaster on the battlefield. The Calcutta arsenal shall be famed throughout the world, extra migration attraction, arms industry and artillery foundry throughput, or the Raj shall be at the forefront of military innovation. Migration half those other bonuses, but 4.15k progress towards repeaters. I'm going to go with the second one. Getting progress towards repeaters is really good. We got a bunch of techs in the pot. But repeaters gets us closer to hand-crank machine gun, which is very important. So let's see. Working on these coal mines. Uh-oh. This is my subject Hyderabad having a liberal revolt. It's a very small liberal revolt, though, so I'm inclined to let it go. Yeah, it seems like they've got it handled. I'm really short on cash. Oh, because I'm building a bunch of stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Rubber discovered in Assam. There's another Rubber Rush event. Rubber was discovered in Assam twice. Nice. So, moving right along here. I think... Yeah, paper mills, more coal mines, more silk plantations. Yeah, I think that's the right call. Obviously, this is costing us a pile of cash. We seem to have developed a fourth British army here. Once again. I don't know why this keeps happening. I genuinely don't. This has got to be some kind of issue with the way the game is built. Raising concerns. The presidency armies have expressed their concerns about government decisions clearly favoring the interests of the government of India. Choosing is always hard, not because the decision is difficult to make, but because the consequences can be a bit inconvenient. Rumors are spreading like smoke from a factory, staining the clear air of the British Raj with a dense and vicious poison. This needs to be addressed. Happy presidency armies, angry government of India, or they need to accept we can't always please everyone. I'm going to go with the first one, because I need to keep the army loyal. Wow, this has actually got me really down in cash right now, but we are building up our economy, and that's necessary, so I'm not worried about it. It's something that we've got to do. So I've been thinking about laws, and I think I do... Well, okay, what do I need for charity hospitals? I need... I just need enactment chance. Same with public health care? Correct. Only 5% stall chance on public health care. The government of India is against public health care. They're neutral towards charity hospitals, but they prefer having no health system at all. So what are these? Let's just take a quick look at what these provide us for now. Oh, interesting. So private has reduced bureaucracy cost, stronger Bhadra locks, stronger standard of living for the upper stratum, pollution mitigation, reduced mortality per wealth. Public is... There we go. Public is increased standard of living for everyone. Stronger pollution effects reduction. Then charity is weaker pollution effects reduction Weaker mortality. Increased Hindu priesthood, political strength. I see. So charity is minus 20% bureaucracy cost. Private is minus 40% bureaucracy cost. And public is no reduction to bureaucracy cost, but it's the most effective. Okay, interesting. Private may be right for now. Well, position myself here. So, how do I want to do this? I do have the ability to go to public schools. Ooh, I can go to slavery banned. It's going to make the Zamindars very unhappy. But, you know, that's okay with me. Hopefully, if I do this, hopefully I can get the, a revolt in the pro-slavery movement. Yeah, I think I'll do that, because I can get British help with this. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna try it. I need to be fightier with my movements if I want to do the things with the country that I need to do. Against the odds. Despite not enjoying full rights under British Indian law, some wealthy Bihari people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. If we want our children to have a future, this is where we should raise them, he said. I want them to live somewhere safe. She crossed her arms. Have you seen the looks we get? When people talk about safe, they don't mean safe for us. They mean safe from us. We made some new regulations to keep the peace. Increased radicalism for heavily discriminated pops. 2% of Bihari pops become more radical. Or they fairly earned their success with all that entails. Ooh, weaker government of India. I guess we'll do more radicals. It is what it is what it is. Alright, so they're having a liberal revolt, and that's fine. Still only got 5% success chance from the utilitarian movement. Again, if I could get... Oh! I can bolster movements. Heck yes! I don't want to necessarily squash the pro-slavery movement, because I want to fight them. But this actually helps me a lot. I'm going to bolster the modernization movement. I'm not going to bolster the peasant movement. I think that's too likely to result in some stuff that I don't want as the ruling governor of India. I'm actually going to turn building nationalization off, because I think... No, most of these buildings are owned by... And where are these? Okay, so yeah, so a lot of our buildings are being bought by interests in the home country. And that's reducing our ability to become independent, or at least autonomous. Again, I want to be a dominion. I don't want to be... And they're generating money for the government, and I don't necessarily need more money for the government. I'm happy to have the government dividends instead. So that's how we're going to do it. Oh. I can nationalize buildings. Interesting. That's quite curious. Not sulfur mines... because all my sulfur mines are owned directly by me. Interesting. So I think this will increase my independence. And reduce my dependency on the home country. And I think that's the way to go here. We're still continuing to reduce relations. That'll reduce our downtick of... independence desire, but it won't actually increase our... it won't actually make us more independent yet. There's a way I could get Pondicherry and Danish Carnatic. Britain, why don't you fight the French? Fight the French, please. You're Britain, isn't that your thing? Isn't that very on brand for you to get fighty with the French? I think it is. Civil servants are furious, but they're as a group very happy because of the whole slavery thing. Obviously, the Zamindars are causing a real problem, but not that much of a problem, honestly. Let's take a look at some of our incorporation efforts. I started incorporating Assam. Assam is almost incorporated at this stage. Orissa is incorporated. Urban Sikhars are incorporated. The ceded districts are close. Central provinces are close. And by close, I mean speaking relatively compared to, you know, a state that I've only just started incorporating. Could do Western Himalayas. Law debate failed, alright. So we're going to get a reset on that. It's a shame. Can I get... Is there... Who's happier about this? Who supports this? Clearly the Riots support this. And the civil servants too. Can I get the civil servants into the government? I can. So that's going to provide me with quite a bit of enactment chance. What about the Riots? No. Can't do that. Yeah, we're going to do this. The government's unacceptable, but we've got a significantly higher chance. Only 5%, but my boys are so happy about it. They're so anti-slavery. Why aren't they helping? United States has formed the League of Allied States. That's interesting. But you guys love slavery banned. Why are you only providing 5%? Oh, because... that was dumb of me. That's okay. That's okay. These things happen. Again, the goal is we want to fight the pro-slavery movement. We don't want to... The goal here is not to... necessarily to undo slavery. The goal is to fight... to get into a fight. Oh, interesting. Russia. Curious. Is Mexico... Mexico is a Russian protectorate now. Interesting. That's quite curious. That's a very interesting animal right there. Yes, very curious. I've got a lot of pluralist movements. Do movements... Is pluralist an ideology characters can have? It doesn't look like it. I think it's movement only. A movement only ideology. I made a decision to record this at the wrong time with the window open, and I'm slowly getting increased screen glare from the blaring whiteness of my arm in the sunlight. It's bad, friends. It's extremely bright. It's extremely bright, and I'm slowly shifting my laptop more and more away from pointed away from me to keep the picture clear. I did not plan this. I did not plan this very effectively at all. We're also in a new patch, so I'm hoping that the game doesn't break. It's 1.8.3 to 1.8.4. I think that's just another hotfix. So I think that's mostly... Yeah, there we go. Alright, so pro-slavery movement is in a revolutionary state. Okay, yeah, I can definitely fight these states. That's completely a reasonable thing to do. And then obviously we'll get British help on this. How's our prestige? Prestige is still rock solid. I have to say I am big salty that as soon as I started playing as a subject state, or rather, that the patch happened as soon as they introduced stuff for the British Raj, and now I'm playing as a subject state, but they changed that thing where Liberty Desire is partially based on... Oh, wait. Oh, interesting. Ah, because I've turned off nationalization, now my Liberty Desire is going up. Oh, no, it's not from... Well, I mean, it's partially from that, but it's also partially because they're infamous. They chose to walk the path of infamy. Alright, so. Pro-slavery movement. Let's see what you got. The street-side standoff. Troops in Bihar have reported more and more confrontations with belligerent mobs. Fighting will likely break out soon if nothing is ordered. There's only two ways to control the situation. Either pull the troops back or tell them to engage. The soldier shuffled nervously where he stood, shifting the weight of his gun back and forth as he stared at the crowd stirring far too close by. He thought he recognized some of those faces, or he would have if they weren't twisted in utter loathing of him and his uniform. What was he even doing? Was he standing with the right people here? Order a withdrawal? Increased state penalties from turmoil, 50% chance of an increase or decrease in civil war progress. Or, our men are professionals, they can maintain discipline where needed. Extra mortality per turmoil. I don't want increased state penalties from turmoil, so I'm going to go with the second one. Mortality will just be what it is. My government is Malthusian, so a little mortality never hurt anyone, as far as they're concerned. I don't want things to get too low with the British Empire, so I need to be a little bit conscientious about that. My amount of influence seems to have gone up. I think that's Canning. I think that's Charles Canning, the inventor of canning. Yeah, because he's an aesthete. Which sounds like a much dirtier thing than it is. He just likes art. That's all it is. He's not... That's all it is. Obviously, we're getting a spike... not much of a spike in radicals, actually. Pretty grateful for that, to be completely honest. Plantation proponents publicize policies. Defenders of continued slavery have published a wave of diatribes, treatises, and sensationalized fictional narratives, all to support their cause. The quantity, if not the quality, of these works has shaken public confidence in abolitionism. It is my duty, and it is indispensable to the public interest, that I should remove prejudices against our nation's peculiar institution as soon as possible. To do away with an institution which has existed throughout all ages. Why? The presumption of such an effort can be equaled by nothing but its folly. Let the slavers speak empty words full of nothing, reduce enactment chance, or these publications are full of evil and lies and must be challenged. Let me see. If I get minus 5%, neither of these is going to affect anything. I might retain a sliver of enactment chance with the second one. I'm just going to do the first one. It's going to take us down to 0 and lead to a reset and a setback, but, you know, it is what it is. That wasn't smart. I should have dragged it out. But, you know, I think we'll be back up, and that'll be fine. Alright, vultures upon a carcass. Opportunistic members of the Ryots have defected to the Zamindars' cause. Carrying crows picked from fresh deaths, no matter the cause. Some, however, sense when a still-living beast is about to die. The creature will wait however long it takes for said meal to die, but better to be the first there with the choicest pick of the meat than hoping for scraps. So be it. Stronger Zamindars, weaker Ryots. Or try to coax them back, reduce bureaucracy. Ooh, I'm going to do it the first one. I don't... Stronger Ryots will not mean anything. Stronger Zamindars will not mean anything once this situation is dealt with. Huh. Legislative failures. Okay. So this is the event that happens when you get down to 0 enactment chance, and this is gonna. So this is just gonna give us a setback and set us back to. Should be at like, yeah, about 15%. Despite many efforts on the part of the government to successfully revive slavery banned from its present imbroglio, the law has come to be regarded as nothing but an inevitable failure. That bill? Please don't talk to me about it. I would say it's better to just pretend it never happened, don't you agree? Certainly, but that won't stop that fool from asking about it every day. We must sponsor a complete rewrite of the bill. Alright. So hopefully that'll let us make some progress over here. And maybe this revolution will continue to grow at a reasonable rate before we end up in a heckin' failure. Government of India petitioned the government. Representing his constituents in the government of India, Charles Canning, the inventor of canning, has issued a formal petition to the British and Indian government to pass the private health insurance. One last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you would meet with them about new legislation. Well, is that it? Goodness, you seem as if you've seen a ghost. I'm sure I can spare the last hours of the light for them, can't I? I believe so, sir. They weren't taking no for an answer. Let me see. We'll see what we can do. Offer them free trade as a compromise, or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. We'll see what we can do. I wanted to do private health insurance, so that's just fine. The British Indian Gujarat insurrection. Slaves have risen up in British Indian Gujarat. They're not a significant force yet, but there are multiple ways to approach them. We want freedom. We want retribution. Does that really surprise you? Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. Negotiate with the revolt's leaders to defuse this. Angry Zamindars, aristocrat pops and slave pops become more radical. Or we don't negotiate with insurrectionists. I'm trying to kick off a revolt with the Zamindars. So this one will make the Zamindars happier. It makes 60% of slaves more radical. I'm going to go with the first one. Some extra radicals in Gujarat is just fine. Again, we're kicking off a revolt here, or trying to. I'm in the revolt meta, friends. Okay, so this is interesting. So we're building up a bunch of paper mills, but we're going to need more government sectors. So let's go ahead and build those in Bombay, I would say. We'll go up to 8 here, because that's for the private health insurance. And then do some in the seated districts. They're close to incorporation, could use a little bit more taxation capacity. So we'll do... Wait, no. I don't need all this because I can increase the production methods. Never mind. I just remembered. The rebel's doctor. A doctor in East Bengal has been caught aiding wounded dissidents and revolutionaries. His aid isn't just helping his patients, it's emboldened the entire rebel movement. The doctor's defense attorney leaned back, nursing a small headache. The medical man had proven impossible to work with. His attempts at defense had just dug a deeper hole for himself. His waffling was painful, and his refusal to trust his counsel or even his kinsfolk had ruined his chances of getting a lighter sentence. His persistent denials had served to only make his name mud. Investigate the medical profession in East Bengal for sympathizers. 20% of academics pops in East Bengal become more radical, or the one doctor was obviously a lone wolf. There's no need to follow up. 2% of academics across the Raj become more radical. You know, I'm actually going to go with the first one. I think more radical academics is probably good for us, actually. And Civil War progress is good for us. So, first one. So, we're getting a little low on bureaucracy. But obviously we're getting a bunch of paper mills built. So let's... Great Britain military exemption. We're no longer forced to join wars. Okay, well, curious. We might still be able to. Let's go ahead and swap some of our bureaucracy over to the new production method now that we've got more more paper in the market, and see how that changes things up. Okay, so it has cost us money. But we've given ourselves a little bit more taxation capacity here, so that's good. This number's kind of going up, but I hope it's not that big of a deal. Where is paper in the market? Oh my goodness, glass is very, very expensive. But where's paper? Paper's relatively cheap in this market, so I can keep doing that without much of a problem. I think we'll do the same in Bombay. This will cost a lot, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, that's giving us a lot more bureaucracy to play with. The mob approaches. Belligerent crowds have been getting increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in British Indian Oud. Hardliners and government are demanding tougher responses, while dubs are calling for troops to stand down as the first hopeful step in de-escalation. A whiff of grape shot saved the day once, and it can be done again. I'm telling you, we need to show strength right now. Strength? Ha! Bullets are an admission of weakness. We need to talk, show them we're not afraid. That's how we get them. Disperse the crowds by force, 50% chance of more radicals, 50% chance of reduced civil war progress or order the troops to stand down. 50% chance of some loyalists, 50% chance of increased progress. Increased progress and loyalists are both good. I'm going to pick the second one. We got loyalists. Nice. Not that many, but it's okay. These things happen. Liberty Desire is still going up a little bit. If we can get below cordial relations, I can get a little bit more. I'd really rather not go down below cordial relations because while that will give us a lot of Liberty Desire, it will also potentially create problems. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again, increasing our Liberty Desire does, and extracting additional concessions from the British is helpful, particularly if we can retain those concessions while we become a dominion. That would be very, very good. All right, show me where we are with slavery banned. Breech loading artillery. Oh, that's excellent. All right, so I don't do it here. I do it here. Go ahead and set all of our artillery to upgrading. And we seem to have a 4th British army once again. Can't be disbanded due to brewing revolution. Alright, well that's fine. The waffling revolutionary. General Shah, an associate of the revolutionary Zamindars, is known to have some doubts about his convictions. It may be possible to use that hesitancy to the government's advantage. Friends, it's not that I don't want the uprising to happen. I'm concerned about, you know, I'm in a good position here. What do I do? What do I do? Press the general to support the government. 50% chance of Zamindars stronger, 50% chance they're weaker, reduce civil war progress. Or he can't be trusted, arrest him. He's a slaver. Arrest him! Cool. Let me just make sure I didn't goof up any of my armies. He doesn't seem to have become arrested. We'll put another guy in here. Let's get a civil servants guy. My army needs another... Oh, but they're both Zamindars guys. Never mind. Oh, we'll get this syphilitic Riyadh guy in here. He'll be fine. It'll be great. Someone also suggests I open up the interest groups, and I think that's... We'll give a shot to that. I'm pretty, not debate failed. That's okay, though. As long as we can keep the, enactment going. So it's going to go down next, since they're only militant. But after that, it's going to go up by 17%, and that's going to kick off the Civil War. So I could have handled that a little better, but it's okay. Hey, there's the steam donkey. Wonderful. Very nice. Peace between the USA and Russia. So did they get New Mexico? They did not. Interesting. Russia was able to fight back against the growth of the United States. When you have a hammer... General Gunda Kangali, noting severe unrest in Bihar, has proposed using the army to suppress agitation in the area. While his political allies support him, there's heavy risk to following his plan. It's simple. We have an army, and there is an enemy. Let me deploy my men to do what is needed, and the enemy shall be vanquished. That is all there is to it. Reprimand the general and reject the plan. He's demoted. Interesting. Hindu priesthood, salty, or we must use the tools we have to solve the problems we have. So here's the deal. We're at 86%. Wait a minute. That's not how that's supposed to go. You're supposed to be able to get progress and then lose... Oh, weird. Hold on. Interesting. So, in the olden days, movements could get their entire progress towards revolution as long as they were revolutionary. But they could only ever... They would only not progress if they were above their limit, but it sounds like this one is below their limit. So, okay, so let me do the second one. Okay, so that's moved it up, so now it's going to go down, which is fine. That's the thing we're trying to do. And then the next time around, it should be at the limit, and then it should be able to go up. And when it goes up, that'll be something that's useful to us. Train robbery in Bombay. International press has been reporting on a train robbery in Bombay led by Kannada agitators. If they were dacoits, many more would have died. These young men were stealing our money back for us. They made mistakes, but their intentions are noble. If they're so noble, then what are they doing waving guns at their fellow countrymen? Now an innocent man is dead. I will never forget the sound of his wife crying. Deny our guards were overpowered. Extra government expenses. 5% of pops in Bombay become more loyal. Or no use covering up our losses, extra infamy generation. I'll do the first one. That's a very modest amount of cash for a lot of loyal pops. Shabamzo. Let's see those numbers. Yeah! There we go. Very good. With that having been said, that is all the time we've got for this episode. I'm still figuring out if this is going to turn into a revolution or not. We'll see how that goes. But for now, my nerds, I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.